in the last couple of years with the newer formulations of gels and stuff, the carbs are once again getting pushed like crazy at the high levels. And then the inference on all these articles is, this is what the pros do. This is what you need to be doing.
Right. Yeah.
And people have no idea what this is, and that it's not going to end well.
Yeah. People always ask me like, well, what did you take during the race? And I tell them, and they just stare at me like blank face. I'm like, that's it. That's all you had. I'm like, yeah. And worked out okay.
Looking at it from a biology standpoint, physiology standpoint, and what's happening to people trying to push that much sugar through their gut while they're trying to do physical activity.
Sure.
They're just, it's like I keep saying, they're burning their internal digestive tract rainforest down and killing off the biome. And Jeff's a perfect example, because he was considering giving up competitive ultra running in 2015.
Yeah.
His candida and his GI stuff had gotten so bad.
Yeah. I talk with Jeff and Jesse and those guys and stuff too on occasion. Like I like figuring out how, because all of us do it a little bit different, and that's the way it should be, right? I mean, we're all
individuals.
Stuff. Yeah. And so I do like picking their brains on how they approach. I definitely go out a little bit more lean, I think, than Jeff does on my usual runs, like when I'm going out in the mountains and stuff. Like I'll bring calories with me, but I like to see how far I can go. Like, I'll go out, I'll take a Vespa Ultra Concentrate to start, and then normally I'll go 4 or 5 hours and I won't take anything, and then I'll start bringing some stuff in towards the tail end. And I'm like, wow, I can't believe I went that long. Now in a race, I won't do that, but it's good to know that like when I'm in that deep wild, and generally it's with heat, when you can't keep like regular calories down, at least then I know I'm like, okay, my body is trained for this. I run with just Vespa all the time.
Vespa, salt and water, and you're good to go.
That's right. So
yeah,
I think it's a huge advantage.
Yeah, no, and fat adaptation is a huge advantage in the heat.
Yeah,
huge advantage. It's a secret weapon in the heat.
Yeah. I mean, there's countless times over the last couple of years where I've just like, okay, it's so hot right now, I'm just turning it off, and I just don't eat, and I just go and and I just power through. Western States was like that. Cocodona was like that. Just.
Yeah, it was interesting because Tom Evans, who won Western States this year, he was talking about he was pushing 120, 140 grams an hour.
Yeah.
Like massive amounts.
Yeah. But it was a cooler year.
It was a cool year. It was not just a cooler year, it was a cool year.
Yeah. That's a totally different race in the heat for sure.
Yeah. And that's the thing is like, and I'm not trying to knock him. It's just, you simply cannot push that kind of calorie intake in the heat.
Yep. No, you can't.
But the carb thing, it's like they're all these expert people are pushing carbs like crazy, and nobody wants to talk about the unintended consequences of doing this.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Even though the science is clear with the cardiovascular disease, the diabetes, the type 3 diabetes, dementia, and cancer, all these things now, I mean, the science has become really clear that too much sugar consumption is a primary driver, and then the chronic inflammation that goes with this. And so that's why
secret weapon that's killing everybody. It's just, everything since like even just in my generation, like growing up, I mean, the amount of sugar content that's being pushed into your everyday living is just as I don't know how much, probably quadruples. I mean, it's
Peter. I don't know if you saw one of the latest vlogs. We have a 26-minute video I did for a 6-month lead up to a 100-mile ultra or an Ironman.
Yeah,
just on the conservative conventional sports diet and nutrition, it's 155 pounds of sugar.
Yeah, that's insane.
Right, right. And so the point of the thing is, okay, people don't realize that. They don't realize concentrated carbs equal sugar.
Yeah.
And so the point we're trying to make here is you don't have to go no sugar, no carbs, but if you cut out a third, that's 50 pounds of sugar. If you cut out half, that's 75 pounds of sugar. If you cut out 2/3, like say you've got 50 pounds of sugar to play with. That's plenty of strategic carbs for the performance end of things, right?
Sure. Yeah. And I think about going from sugar camp to, total like carnivore. I'm definitely, I wouldn't say in the middle, maybe a little bit more towards carnivore, but at the same time, I love vegetables. I think, asparagus, broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts. I mean, like
you like variety, right?
Yeah. They're my usual rotation. I throw in sweet potatoes or some regular potatoes on occasion. Like if I got big efforts.
A little bit of white rice for a strategic carb once in a while.
Yeah, I love sushi.
Yeah, sushi. Like I say, the thing, try for your marathon. 2 nights out, steak and baked potato. Night before, 2 bowls of miso soup and sushi to satiation. Do not go overboard with sushi. Don't break your bank account. Just go, because Stephen Losey, who's one of our athletes, he runs a lot of marathons, and he said, "Oh man, the sushi was so good, I filled up," and it slowed him down, right? But just enough sushi to get it, and that, I think you'll find that to be a really good combination. You get that resistant starch to top your carb and glycogen stores off, and my go-to is always like a ribeye, and I make these potatoes at home where I sort of like my old Nana's recipe, but they're like small little golden potatoes, and I boil them for about 20 to 30 minutes, and then I roast them with that's what we had when I was at your house.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
So, we had that ribeye and we had the potatoes with the vegetables in them.
That's my go-to before meal. So load it with some sour cream or something.
Yep. But do that 2 nights out, and then do this miso soup and sushi the night before early. And you'll be, because I found that the big protein meal can slow you down a little bit. But you get that poor man's blood doping from the heme iron in the ribeye. You get all that stuff, but if you do it 2 days out, you're fine. But and then that sushi just really allows you to go, and you get the sodium bolus from the miso soup, and it's
I have a hard time slowing down on sushi though. That's
well, that's why I said that's why I said just have enough to satiation, and that's the thing and that's the other thing about it is we have the flexibility to do that, right?
Yeah.
So you like variety. You're like me. You'll eat anything. People need to understand you're not giving up anything, because when you build that metabolic capacity, get that inflammation down, the occasional hit of less than optimal lifestyle.
I mean, I like to, I can be strict when I need to be. And if I have a big race coming up, like definitely, I'm strict with it. But same thing with drinking alcohol. That's, I like whiskey, but like I'll cut it out like leading up to a race and everything. And I think it's just like everything in life. If you have everything in moderation, it's going to work out.
Well, it's like you said earlier, you become so sensitized to everything that even though we're just now saying you can have whatever you want on occasion, whether it's social or things work out or whatever, it's you sort of auto-correct rather than fall off the wagon. Anything else you can say about, the life you're living right now that you can recommend to others? Because, everybody should be living their life. It's individual. Like we're all the same, we're all different, but getting that foundation physiology back to where it needs to be, where you burn fat, just has a whole bunch of implications beyond just the performance.
Yeah. I mean, life in general is hard. Everything, it should be hard. I mean, races are hard. You have to be challenged. You have to be able to fight through these things. And you have to look at yourself in the mirror and say, I need to do this. You need to make changes. If you want to make a change to OFM, you have to just like wake up and say, okay, I can do this. I did it. I was just an average guy that was just suffering through, miserable stomach aches during races, like a lot of people. And I was like,
bonking.
I was like, I don't want to keep doing this anymore. And then finally made a change, and then I just never looked back, because once I took a month and I just dedicated myself to like, it's 1 month out of my life. I'm going to do the diet. I'm going to do the regimen.
Metabolic reset. Reset. Yep.
Yep. And then after I had like my first like 2 races after that, just went so well. I was like, okay, this is it. Why would I go back?